Oh, okay. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me much better now?
Hello?
Yeah, I said, can you hear me now?
Oh, okay. Yes, much better now.
Okay. Maybe it's network. All right.
Hi,
Thank
Mira.
you very much. Hi, Daniel. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Okay. All right. So we can start in the next 10 minutes. I just give time for people to join in because a lot of people are not yet.
Okay.
Here.
Okay.
Let's just give
That's
time.
fine. That's fine.
Thank you. Okay, so I think we can start now because I can see a lot of people on YouTube already checking out our YouTube channel and following us live. Okay, so Daniel, welcome again to Alpha CX webinar. Today's webinar is titled Employee Experience versus Customer Experience. And we have a guest in the house today for the first time. Yes, Sutenyo is not here with me today, for reasons that are beyond our control, but we have a guest today, and our guest's name is Anayor Daniel. Daniel, welcome to Alpha CX webinar. Daniel, if you're speaking, you're muted. Can anybody hear me right now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Daniel, please, if you're speaking, you are muted.
Yeah, I can hear you. Just give me a few minutes, then I'll jump on it. I'm just trying to clear my table now.
Oh, I see. All right. I think that's impromptu work that came up, I guess. All right. So to employee experience, many people do not really know what employee experience is. And it's a good thing that you are here today if you do not know what employee experience is, because we'll get to explain it to you from the angle of a HR professional. So like employee experience really affects customer experience, because actually at Alpha CX, we focus more on customer experience. But then we have noticed that there's something that actually affects customer experience that are oblivious to business owners and company owners. And so therefore we brought it up, and that is employee experience. And while we're waiting for our guests to actually get started, I can do just a brief introduction about who our guest is, so you can know what you're up against today or what you're going to be enjoying today. So our guest is Anayor Daniel, and he's an effective and confident individual who is also a self-starter with the dedication and motivation required to succeed in a busy HR department. He possesses over 3 years of experience working as an HR professional, and he has in-depth knowledge of HR processes and procedures, and a proven track record of working with senior HR advisors and managers across fintech, manufacturing, healthcare, and tech startups. Most of his experience has been in talent acquisition, people management, performance management, payroll administration, drafting of handbooks, other workplace policies, and many other things as well. He believes everyone has a better version of their current self, which is something that a HR professional needs to have as a quality, seeing the good in others and actually seeing that the fact that they can actually be better than where they or who they are right now. He has been chosen to assist individuals to discover their hidden version of themselves, to boost their performances, and also to become much better than they used to be. Some of his core competencies include talent acquisition, like I mentioned before, people management, talent development, respect for diversity in workplaces, employee attraction and retention, and emotional intelligence. So I give you our guest, the one and only Onuoha, yes, Onuoha Anayor Daniel. I hope I didn't murder your name there.
You did. You seriously murdered it.
I'm so sorry. Forgive me. Welcome, Daniel.
Okay.
It's so great to have you on the Alpha CX webinar. I know that when I connected with you for this, you were really excited and you were like, this actually is more than supposed to be. It's more than a topic for a webinar. It can be for a conference and all the rest. And it is true, because there are lots and lots of sides to it. But hey,
That's true.
how do we get to know this side without consulting somebody who is in depth into the HR world than, who else to go to than you? So Daniel, let us know, what is the meaning of employee experience? How does it affect customer experience, and how can it be improved upon? And especially when we know what the importance of employee experience is.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank you so much, Muna. I want to thank Alpha CX for the opportunity to speak to the opportunity to grace the platform, right? Because I definitely know that the people we have on the call, or the people watching us probably from YouTube, may or should be professionals in diverse field of life, right? So I'm very, very grateful for this opportunity. Also, I just want to touch on this, just like you said earlier. When I saw this topic about employee experience and customer experience, funny enough, it has been something that personally I have been looking into recently, right? Especially after the outburst we had on Twitter here in Nigeria some couple of weeks back, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that brought that curiosity, where you need to understand that there is a high level of lack or poor employee experience, especially when it comes to businesses in Nigeria, right? And from statistics, right, it's not just Nigeria, right? So that we shouldn't make it to look like a Nigerian factor. It's something that it's very, 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 very prevalent with businesses worldwide, right? As we go through our probably when I start showing my slides, we'll see a stat that talks about how many percentage of companies that are really even interested in employee experience, right? So we'll definitely see that the numbers are really low. The numbers are really not encouraging. So just like you asked earlier, you asked about what is actually employee experience? What's employee experience all about, right? So I'll just start by showing out my slide. If where is that now? I just want to roll out my slide so that we get started.
Okay, this is going to be very interesting.
So we get started, right?
Any difficulties sharing so that I can confirm and check?
Yeah, so when I get started, I'll let you know. Okay, can you see my slide?
Yes, I can see your slide. Clean,
okay,
clear.
Great. Yeah, great. So I just want to minimize this so that I could see what I have here. Okay, great. So
and you put your position full screen so that we can just focus on what you have shown for us.
Okay, you want a full screen?
Yes.
Okay, full screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Employee experience versus customer experience, right? You already asked me, already pushed me to, I think, about the third slide or thereabout. So I wouldn't want to start with all these. You already done justice to this. In fact, you've made it so much. So the only thing I will add is, away from my work life, which Muna has done justice, or even more than justice to it, right? Is that I also have time where I MC and also organize team bonding events for organizations, weddings, and also birthdays as well. All right. So from my experience especially when it comes to team bondings, right, where we do programs like this, and I help organizations to get their teams together just for fun fair, for them to enjoy themselves, and also for them to get to have experience away from work. You definitely get to see a lot of lack in the employee experience we are talking about today in organizations, right? You definitely get to see the people's excitement, what they have been longing for all this while, and what they lack. You see that excitement in them. You really know that there is a serious issue around employee experience that we are not talking a lot about it, right? So like you asked, what's the meaning of employee experience? What's the meaning of employee experience, right? So employee experience is usually abbreviated at EX, right? Is to simply put, right? Just so we don't use so much of English and all that. To simply put, it's an employee's perception of his or her job. That's just it. Putting it in just one sentence is an employee's experience of his or her job. What was the employee's perception? That's the simple meaning of employee experience. It is how your employees feel about their employment. It's how they feel about their job. How do they feel about their job? What's their thoughts about their job? If somebody should just ask them randomly that, how do you feel about what you do? How do you feel about where you work? What's their answer? What's their response to that? That's the full meaning of employee experience, right? So one can also say that employee experience is all about making employees happy, proud, confident about or in their job. So basically, so a research done by IBM, right, on Work Human, they define employee experience as a set of perception that employees have about their experiences at work in response to their interactions with the organization, right? So it says that it's a set of perception, just like what we defined earlier, right? It's a set of perception. So it is that feeling the employees have about their experience of the
yes,
job.
and it can actually be related. Just so that we can also talk about what customer experience means for people that do not know what it means. It's literally the same thing, but just removing the word employee and adding the word customer.
Definitely.
It's how your customer sees your brand, how they see your services, how they, enjoy or feel about the services that you give them. So if it's bad, they're obviously not going to be happy about how they feel about when it comes to how they feel about your brand. And if it's quite good, it's reverse of the case. So I see that it's pretty much the same thing when it comes to the definition of the two of them.
So the truth is, it's the same concept, right? Employee experience, customer experience, it's the same concept. It's just that you are talking about two different set of people, right? So it's the same concept. So why your employees need to be or the reason or why you are paying more attention to customer experience to make sure that they are quite happy, it's successful and all that. That's that same reason should also encourage you to pay even more attention to employee experience. So it's just the difference there is just like it's two different people, right? But it's the same concept. So this perception cuts across from the point of candidacy to the point of exit. So just to break this down, what I mean here is that employee experience cuts across from the point where, oh, I'm applying for this job. I was contacted on phone, an email was sent to me, interviews has been scheduled. They came for the interview, whether physical or remote, or through any interview tool you want to make use of. They come for the interview, and after that, offer letter is sent. Even the content of the offer letter, right? Down to their onboarding, they come on the job, right? And all through to the point where they are leaving the company, right? So every aspect of these things, every point in this process makes up employee experience. The next slide will show us the life cycle of employee experience. We will see what I just said now. We'll see the life cycle, right? So, but before we go there, I would like to bring out something very, very clear, because I've seen companies that when it comes to recruitment, when it comes to candidates, they manage candidates poorly, A candidate, I wanted to say this later, but I'll just, because it already came up, I'll just talk about it. I've seen organizations or I've heard where a candidate will go for an interview and they keep the candidate sitting 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, and they say they are testing the candidate's patience. Oh, come on.
That's serious. I've heard of, and it's funny. I'm just getting to, thank God for, getting to know from other people's perspective, especially from a professional in HR, because I really didn't know that even the recruiting process of, employees actually contributes to employee experience. I remember one time when I was actively looking for a job, so that was an organization. It's a well-known organization. I'm not going to mention their name. They had 3 screens. The first screen, I went there, I passed. I was so excited. They sent me an email like, okay, you had passed the first stage. I went for the next stage. I had passed the second stage. The third stage, it was so, because there and then they told us, we like the way you did, or if you don't like the way you did. They told us there and then. So I was so sure that I had gotten the job, only for me to wait 1 week, no email, 2 weeks, no email, 3 weeks, no email. And I think a little bit after a month, they sent an email saying, oh, they're sorry. They've been working on some things. That's why they've not been able to send an email to let us know when we can come for our, to resume and all. And then later on, it just died down. No, okay, we're sorry, we can't take you anymore. Only for me to find out that I was actually, giving the link for the job for my friend. Only for me to find out from my friend that she said, sorry, that they had to cut down some people based on age. I'm like, you could just let me know. Why keep my hopes up that I had actually done this, So it's true that the recruiting process also contributes to employee experience.
Yes. The truth is, employee experience. Okay, let's go down to customer experience, right? So that you get to understand why it starts from there. Customer experience starts from the first point the customer gets to meet either the service or the product, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where it starts. Is it probably from your social media ads, from your sponsored ads on social media, and probably I jump on the ad and I click the link, it takes me somewhere. That's my experience. So for example, I click, it takes me to your website, and I just realized that your website is poorly built. So I'm already having, if I'm a customer, right, I'm already having, I don't think this post service will be good, right?
Yeah.
For example, let me say I want to, I want to order food online, right? And I'm just scrolling on Instagram. So we're talking about customer experience now. I want to relate it to why employee experience starts from the point of candidacy. So I'm scrolling on Instagram and I see this business that probably they deliver food to your office or wherever. Then I click, it takes me to their website. And already looking at the website, there's nothing to write home about, right? There's wrong spellings everywhere. Images are poorly set and all that. Already my experience about the service is already, I don't think I want to even go further to even order a food from them, right? I probably want to take another decision. So that's the reason why, if you're talking about employee experience, it starts from the point where even putting out your job ads. So for me, I'm a technical recruiter, right? Currently, right? I'm very, 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 very intentional about how I send out my job ads. I don't just send job ads like, oh, can you apply for the role of a front-end developer or thereabout, right? No, I make sure that I give you a feel of what my company is about. I make sure I give you a reason why you should join. So already when you see the ads, if you're applying, there's already an experience that you're getting about the company. So even if you finally come in, there's a foundation level of experience you already have about the company, then you can now move from there. But if we now play with the beginning, which is at the candidacy level, then I'm already afraid of what I will meet if I get into the job, right? So that's why employee experience starts from the point where I'm even applying for the job, right? So employer experience has in recent times it has been one of the most concerned discussion about the future of work, right? So we heard about future of work, but employer experience has been the core of that discussion. If for any reason, thanks or no thanks to COVID-19, right? If there's any reason why we should talk about employer experience, almost talk about it every day, probably because of COVID-19, because COVID-19 has done a lot that has opened our eyes when it comes to how to manage our employees. Light out, sorry. Due to what I said earlier about the employee life cycle, right? I hope you guys can see the employee life cycle. Yes. So this is employee experience life cycle. It starts from attraction, So attraction is you putting your job ads, your social media accounts. There are some companies today that if you hear that they are hiring, you quickly want to apply, probably because of the way they package themselves online, because of the way they package themselves on their social media, or because of what you have heard about people working there. You are eager. If you see them put a job ad, you are going the next day or that same day to apply, right? So it starts from attraction. How do you attract talent? This is something you should think about. If you are a manager here, if you're a leader, if you're a business owner, it goes to recruitment. What's your recruitment process? What's it like? Is it very tedious? Are you taking people every day? They come from stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, stage 5. What are you employing for? So you're already stressing them. Already they are thinking like, if I finally get this job, means before I probably submit a project, I'll probably go through God knows how many levels of stages, right? So your recruitment process, how is it like? Has it been designed the way that candidates will be so comfortable and they enjoy it going through the process? Then you go down to onboarding. In fact, I usually say for me, this is, all of them are important, right? But for me, it's the most important. Onboarding. How is your onboarding process like? It goes down to development. After onboarding, they are already working, they are doing, they are delivering. You don't leave them at that point. You probably engage them. That's the development. You engage them. You find a way to develop them, their career. Is there promotion levels that they can go through from one level? Probably I'm starting as an assistant. Tomorrow I'm becoming a manager. Is there a proper performance management process that will help manage their performance? Is there a form of development that has been designed for them to develop themselves and also grow in their career, right? So all these things need to be put together to make sure that there is proper development. So that's another experience, another stage in the employee experience life cycle. It goes down to retention. So probably when you get it right with development, right, retention is always a function of what you do during development. Then you have separation. Separation is a point of exit when they are leaving the business. What do you do at that point? There are some business owners that once someone submit a resignation letter, they become your enemy. You speak to them anyhow. It's not necessary, right? It's not necessary because someone is going out doesn't necessarily make the person an enemy to the business, right? So how do you handle separation? Do you take your time to handle separation properly? It's also very important, also very key in the process, right? So we won't spend more time here because we'll still talk about this as we go ahead. So over to you, Muna.
All right. Thank you so much for that in-depth explanation of what employee experience is. I hope that the people that are watching are learning. For those that already have organizations, please do bear in mind that even from attraction, because I'm even saying that from recruitment, but actually from this life circle here, it starts from attraction. So if your job, your job vacancies out there are not looking attractive enough to get people who have the talents that qualify for what you need, then there's a problem. You will not get any employees to click, that link and join your organization. And then to recruitment and then onboarding, development, even to separation. Please, your employees are not your slaves. You should not hold them down. In fact, there should, if anything, should actually be a thing of worry when an employee is leaving an organization. It should be more of what happened? What's the problem? Is it from our end, or you just find you want to move?
Yes.
You don't think we can help out with? They don't need to actually just become the person's enemy, like Daniel said. There's no need for that. So thank you so much, Daniel, for this explanation. So how important is this customer and employee experience of a thing? Because to many people that have the organization, they just feel, well, it's just important because so they can just keep working for me. Help us know if there are other reasons why it actually should be taken care of.
Okay. Importance of employee experience. Why is it important, right? So basically, right, like I said earlier, if there is any reason why we should talk about employee experience, thanks and no thanks to COVID-19, because what COVID did to businesses was that COVID made businesses to understand that employees are actually they are like the king in the business, right? That's what COVID did. You know, during COVID, everybody had to go home, lock yourself inside. So who works for you? Nobody, except you're probably running a business where they can probably work from home. So most businesses were stuck at a point. People could not production could not go on, services could not probably go on so well. So COVID has brought it out clearly that employees should be carefully taken care of because they determine a lot of factors when it comes to your business, right? So not only about that, COVID has gone a long way to affect the society generally, the economy, businesses, and all that. So this has made businesses to fall back to the table and ask themselves, where are we getting it wrong? Where do we need to improve, right? And most of the questions they have been asking themselves, right, they have discovered that a lot has not been done when it comes to employees, giving them the right experience, giving them the best experience in the organization. Yeah. So there is something I had here for a research done by Deloitte says that that only 9% of business leaders believe they are very ready to address this issue. You see what I was telling you about the numbers, right?
Are you serious?
Yeah. Remember when I was telling you about the numbers?
They're not even up to 10.
Yeah, just 9% of business leaders. So this research was done by Deloitte, right? So it is. When
was this research carried out? Sorry.
So I think this was done before COVID, right? This research was done before COVID. Okay. Yeah, before COVID. So it is clear that businesses, they know about these things, right? But they know that, oh, there is something to do about probably improving employee experience, but they are not seeing the benefit when it comes to, oh, if I invest in employee experience, what will be the benefit based on business when it comes to do with probably sales and revenue? There's a lot of benefits, right? There is a lot, but they are not seeing this benefit. So we'll see them. We'll see them so that if you're a business owner here listening to us, you definitely know that, oh, investing in employee experience is not actually a waste of money. It's something that will still come back to improve the business, right? So some of the importance, like you said earlier, right? Some of the importance of employee experience is one, it helps to attract and retain talent, right? The truth is, if you have if your workplace or your business or your organization has a very good remark when it comes to employee experience, you would easily attract talent, and you attract the best of talent. That's just the truth. Do you know why? The people inside spreads whatever feedback they are getting outside. If they are getting negative feedback, they spread it outside. If they are getting positive feedback, they spread it outside. So if the employee experience is wonderful, your employees that you have currently will spread the news. Oh, my organization is great. This is what they do for us. This is how they take care of us. And people hear it. So the good talent or the best of talent that you can think of, they're probably working somewhere else that they are not having the best experience, they will definitely want to always be attracted to your organization. So that's one of the advantages, right? It attracts and it helps to retain. If your talents that you have that are great probably don't want to leave. They want to stay with you because they know they're having great experience working with you. They won't want to leave because they don't know where they are going, if they will still have that kind of feel that they're having working with you, right? So they won't want to leave. They want to stay with you as long as possible. I won't want to jump into this because if we want to talk about retaining talent, it will take us a whole lot of discussion, right? I want people to understand that it is not and will never be nice for people to come and leave your organization. It is never and would never be nice. So I don't know why people are comfortable about that. You shouldn't be comfortable about that. Never. In fact, it's a huge red flag that you should check your business what is wrong. So you should make sure that you have a process that finds a way to keep people, to keep talent working with you, to retain them. Not out of force, but out of willingness, right? So it creates a kind of bond around the workforce, right? When there's a great employee experience, you realize that people get to work together. There's this sense of team, right? There's this sense of team where people get to put hands together to make sure that they achieve the organizational goal. So if your employee experience is great, you have a wonderful team where people are willing to put hands together, put thoughts together, and put their minds together, and they work in a great team to make sure that things are achieved. And we cannot even overemphasize when it comes to do with teamwork, right? We cannot ever overemphasize about that because it's very, very important. Then you enable work support, right? A good experience at work empowers employees to try their best. Once as employees have good experience about where they are working, they always want to go the extra mile. You don't even need to tell them that. They know they need to go the extra mile. They want to go the extra mile. They want to put that next step. So if this is what they have been achieving, they want to do this because they feel like within them, due to the experience they are getting, they feel they need to give back, right? So they always want to go the extra mile. If their workplace projects are an air of support, right, employees will feel confident about their work and less afraid of failure. So when people have the best experience, they are not afraid of failure. They are willing to go all out. They are willing to push to make sure that things are achieved. So improved engagement, I'll just run through this. Improve engagement, right? Employees with a positive view of their workplace enjoy a certain level of excitement about their job. They are attentive and engaged and ready to do their best. So it fosters collaboration, right? Giving a positive experience collaborating with their peers, employees won't be afraid to ask for help, provide guidance, and work together, right? Especially in an environment that supports them. So if you have that environment, employees are willing to work with each other. They are willing to ask for help. They are willing to, take guidance and definitely achieving goals. So we also say it inspires creativity. People, naturally, humans are creative where they find themselves very, I'll use the word free and very comfortable, right? They are naturally creative. So it inspires creativity because one of the advantage of, one of the features of a great employee experience in an organization is that the organization promotes communication and open door policy. So you see that your employees are creative. They come up with business ideas. They come up with things that will solve problems, right? And all this helps the business to grow. Prioritize well-being, right? When there is great employee experience, it means well-being is prioritized. And when well-being is prioritized, it means you have healthy workers. So when you have healthy workers, trust me, nobody's asking for time off for sick leave. Nobody's asking for probably they are suffering from fatigue or all the rest, right? So you have a great workforce that are willing to push for you, right? So feed the bottom line. This number 8, I think this is why we are here today. Feed the bottom line. Employee experience feeds the bottom line. A positive employee experience boosts the bottom line through everything from whatever you can think of about the business. It goes down to the core of the revenue, right? Where there is bad employee experience, you realize that business starts to drop. People don't work the way they should work. Customers start leaving, and you ask yourself why. You don't know. We'll see that when we go further, right? So it bolsters company image, right? We can't talk about this less. This is like it, right? Like I said earlier, what happened on Twitter some weeks back where people were calling out companies. Imagine if your own business, whoever on this call, your business was called out. Just imagine the image, right? Imagine what it would cost the business, right? So when there's good employee experience, it fosters company image, right? People talk about your business. Your employees go out there and preach your business. They tell their friends, they go on social media, they show it that they are actually happy, right? So it's very, very important. So it grows professionally. So when there's employee experience, your talents grow. So they grow professionally. They don't just talk in one stage. You got them as an intern, and over the next 5 years, you see them becoming managers of different departments because the experience they are having is great. So they grow, right? So that would be all from me, right?
All right, thank you so much. So for those that are watching on YouTube, you can actually just drop questions as you go, in case you miss anything, in case you want to ask anything. And for those watching on the meeting here with us live on Zoom, you can actually ask any questions you may have right now. You can start putting them down so that when we get to the question and answer session, we would attend to your questions firsthand. I love the part where you said, the fact that when you have good employee experience, it enables collaboration. And how can that be done, by organization people? I think I just want to chip in a little from what you said. And that is not, when you mentioned that it actually allows people to seek advice, also gives them the boldness or confidence to actually give guidance to people that ask for this advice and work together. So I think a way that organizations should make sure that this works is not putting all these hierarchy things above teamwork. So then you make it seem like you cannot talk to this particular person if you're in this level. Oh, you're not in the C-suite, so you can't talk to this particular people. Oh, you are too low to talk to this kind of person. That. How do you expect the lower level employees to grow if you do not allow free flow of communication between your team members? It's good to enable that environment so that they can grow, and obviously you will be in their success story. They will not forget you in a hurry. They will, even if they've left your organization, they will keep hailing your organization. Like, it is your training, your environment that actually made them become who they are today. So Daniel, you can please go ahead with how it affects customer experience.
Oh, great. So how does it affect customer experience, right? How does it affect the customer? I would say in every way. In every way you could probably think of it affects customer experience. So let's just have a dive into what I prepared here today, right? Let's just have a dive. So there is an undeniable link between customer experience and employee experience. It's something that we can't even deny, right? There is a huge link between customer experience and employee experience, and brands can improve one. You can't improve one without improving the other. That's it. So let me explain this. You cannot just jump into improving customer experience, right, without improving employee experience. So if you say you want to improve customer experience, probably you just do what they call what's this word now? You're just doing solving the problem at the meantime. In the long run, it will go back, right? In the long run, it will be seen. The customer could clearly see that something is wrong, right? When we go down, I think we'll see a short story, right? I'll probably want people to engage on that. So there will be a short story where we'll just read through and people will just share their thoughts on what they think about that, right? So there is this link. So you cannot also improve employee experience without customer experience improving. So it's two concepts that you can't really separate from each other. So by the time you want to improve one will automatically also, or one will or should be improved. Though employee experience and customer experience should ultimately share a mutual dependent, just like the chicken and egg relationship, right? Brands looking to improve their customer experience and drive a corresponding increase in their return on investment should first focus on creating the best employee experience possible. So if you are looking to improve customer experience, the first thing you need to do is what? Invest in employee experience. That's it. That's the way out. So we'll just look into some statistics, right? So according to Forbes, right? Forbes had a research and says that companies with excellent customer experience have employees that are 1.5 times more engaged than employees at companies with less satisfactory customer experience. So it's clearly seen that Forbes had a research made, and the research says that companies that have great customer experience, right, 1.5 times their employees are more engaged, they are more happy than companies with less satisfactory customer experience. So it's clear that there's a link between these two things, right? So additionally, it says that companies with highly engaged employees outperform their competitors by 147%. So this is clearly research that was done, right? It says these companies with highly engaged employees, right, outperform their competitors. So if your employees are highly engaged, their experience is great, trust me, it will definitely show in what? In their performance. It will definitely show. So, however, research conducted in 2015 uncovered that only 32% of American workers feel engaged in their work. So it means that there is still a large number of people that still feels like there's not a lot that has been done. The large number of employees still feels like there's not a lot that has been done to improve their experience, right? So we could see the numbers not quite encouraging, but I believe that with business owners and leaders that are in this call, probably after this meeting today, a lot will be done when it comes to employee experience. So when employees suffer, customers suffer. That's it. When an employee suffer, customers suffer. I want us to see this. I want us to understand this, and I want us to know that this is what it is. When employees suffer, your customers suffer, the business suffers. That's it. You can't separate these things from each other, no, because they are all interwoven. So you can't separate them. So this is why we need to pay interest in employee experience. So the research aside, so we should just keep the numbers away from it, right? We should just keep the numbers away from it. And we could see clearly that it is only normal that employees who have positive experience, in contrast to those who simply occupy their job, are more productive and want to put in extra effort. They want to do a fantastic job for their customers, managers, colleagues, and even themselves, right? Because they feel valued, they take pride in what they do. So if just looking at it without even going through what statistics is talking about, right? Naturally, when people feel they are valued, when they feel they are happy about what they are doing, right? You see that the way in which they engage the customers, the business, their colleagues will be extremely different, right? It will be extremely different. So at the end of the work day, like positive employee experience has a direct correlation to business success. Employees who feel comfortable, welcome, accommodated, and empowered return to this positive energy into the work, right? They return this positive energy into the work. So you give them the positive energy as a business owner, as a leader, as a manager, and they will return it back to the work, right? So the interaction they share, the company culture. So these factors contribute to a business bottom line. So this is the story I want to share with us, right? So that we just look at it. So this is Mary, right? Mary is a customer services assistant manager for XYZ Limited. Mary is going through work fatigue as the company gives no interest in work-life balance for their employee. The company is just always interested in who is meeting KPI and cares very little about the employee well-being. To make matter worse, and the employees' efforts are never appreciated. The top managers usually rain insults and some unacceptable words on their employees. Mary is tired of this experience, but she has no choice but to keep the job as she's a single mother and she needs to keep her job to take care of her boy. But recently, the way she responds to customers has changed. She shouts at them and even uses some unacceptable words on them when they call to make complaints about company services. The company just realized that their review on social media about their company services is bad, as there are a lot of complaints about how their customer service staff speaks to the customers that call in to complain or make an inquiry. Who is to be blamed for this?
Interesting story. Can I go first with my own answer while we wait for the other time?
I would like us to listen to, you know what, let's listen to those on the call. Is there anybody that will want to probably say something, right?
Please, you can go ahead then, and the chat is open to everyone. You can drop in. I'm currently looking at the YouTube for any chats, and I'm also looking at the Zoom. If you have anything you want to share, you can share it right now, and I'll read it out. But if you prefer to speak right now on Zoom, you can actually just, unmute your mic and speak if you want to do just that.
Okay. Someone hands up already. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead, you can go ahead because you actually unmuted before they raised their hand. So we'll attend to. But just introduce yourself and then let us know what you think.
Okay, so my name is Oza, and I just want to thank Alpha CX platform and Anayor for a wonderful presentation. But I just have a concern. Perhaps I don't know if I'm going to try to rephrase it into a question, but it's just a comment, and then I'll just want to get some reactions from Anayor. Now I know that in Nigeria, let me just narrow it down to Nigeria. Most job seekers, what they want when they go for an interview, or in fact at the point of even applying for any vacancy, their focus is just about getting the job, and nothing else matters to them. I mean, they talk about experience, they talk about how good the company is. In fact, some don't even, some don't even care if they go and stay under the sun, for 3-4 hours, like we saw during the immigration recruitment in Abuja, when there was a stampede and people died. So for them, for a typical job seeker in Nigeria, my take is that they don't really look at, they don't even care about, their experience. What they want to do or what they want is just to land the job, just get the job. So how do you not reconcile this, having that, mentality of, Nigerian job seekers always going for, the bullseye, as opposed to, getting, distracted by, what the company outlook is like, what the experience is, what the questions, kind of questions they were asked, during, the interview process. So how do you now reconcile this with, this whole concept, about employee experience, even starting from the point of even applying for the job? So, I don't know if I'm going to put it, I don't know how to put it in a question format, but it's just like a comment, which perhaps will require some reactions from you. So how do you reconcile that when you know that everybody's looking for a job, and everybody, because of how limited job vacancies are and how job opportunities are, everybody's looking at getting a job, and you're just talking about employee experience and and all that. So that's my comment basically. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Oza, for that question. We can answer this question during the question. I understand what you're saying, because like you said, people don't just, go to the details of the companies, they just jump in to, get the job. I understand your question, but right now we just want to know what you think about the story that was read. I think Daniel has noted your question down, and he would answer during the question and answer session. But what do you think about this story that was read? While you think about your answer, Tolulope, you raised your hand up. You can go ahead and share.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Daniel.
Hi, Tolulope.
So much fun participating in this class. So for the question that was asked, who is to be blamed for this? I think the person to be blamed is XYZ Limited, because from the start, they have decided to be very nonchalant about their customer experience, their employee experience. So it's just very normal that you can't give what you don't have. So since the employees do not have the kind of experience that the company would want them to give to customers, there is no way they can actually give it. So that's my take on it.
All right, thank you so much, Tolulope. Oza, I don't know if you want to contribute to this. You can go ahead if you want to contribute.
I'm just feeling a little bit well, I say, I think I didn't really get the story, and I went ahead to ask a question when I was supposed to follow or flow from that particular story. So my apologies. I think I missed that bit. So I'm just a little bit, off, off the hook here. So my apologies for, jumping the guns and going to ask a question when I was supposed to like flow from a story from Anayor. So, I mean, sorry about that. So I can't really comment on the story because I didn't quite pick it up when Anayor was narrating that piece in his presentation. So my apologies.
Okay, it's all right. I don't know. Can you see the screen because it's displayed on the screen? But it's your apologies accepted. I understand. It's the excitement of okay, I have this question. I really, really want to drop it. But you can read it in case you want to share your thoughts on it. While we wait for you, I can see God Lover's hands up. Okay. God Lover, please go ahead and share what you think about this question that was asked.
All right. Thank you so much. From the story, this is really quite tricky because we don't really know the culture in XYZ, in company XYZ. Probably the way they are treating their employees, raining insults and that. Some people assume that that's a strategy for employee experience. They feel that you have to boss people up for them to deliver on their work. So in my opinion, I think if XYZ can stand and answer for themselves, they will tell you that they did that in the company's best interest, trying to boss people up to let them know that this place is a no-nonsense place or something like that, and it apparently it backfired because Mary got frustrated and it told on the customer experience as well. So who to blame is a very, very, really tricky question because in this situation, I think that's my contribution. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You brought in a different perspective to it. That is just, some people's mechanism to actually drive work to be done. And so therefore there's a problem with placing the blame on who actually caused the whole wahala. All right, so I think we can go on. Daniel, if you'd like to share. Okay, Oda, are you back? All right.
Yes, I just took a minute to quickly, scan through. So awesome. I think first of all, when you find yourself in a toxic environment, there's nothing, you can't help it. First of all, if I want to go back to my earlier question and just tie this with, the presentation from Anayor. I think the first red flag, for Mary, would have been, to really look through what kind of company she's getting herself into in the very first place. So that's why I'm saying, or I made that comment about a typical job seeker in Nigeria doesn't look at those, indicators. They just want to get a job, because ideally, if Mary, in my opinion, had seen this, this red flags, done her due diligence and I've seen these red flags, she probably wouldn't have been in that sort of a toxic company working environment. But ultimately, the company is to be blamed because the company is supposed to set, the right internal mechanisms, to ensure work-life balance, which is very, very important. It's a no-brainer. For me, I can't find myself in any environment where, work-life balance is not prioritized by the employers. No way. I can't find myself. I can't, never. It's not going to be possible. But ultimately, it's a no-brainer. The company is to be blamed because, what are their policies? What are their policies to ensure, that its employees are given the right, tools to work, not necessarily, the physical paraphernalia or whatever they call it, but, those sort of, things that will impact their output, staff output that will definitely reflect in, whatever reviews that the company gets, and that's on one side. On the flip side, I really don't take social media reviews to heart because sometimes I think they are either doctored, they might be doctored, Yes, I mean, flipped on either side, either for or against. But the most important aspect to get that review is, I mean, those that have used it, not just by going to social media to place out those reviews, but by an internal mechanisms that the company itself, can measure up to know that, okay, what we are getting from social media is actually what we are getting by actual users. So I think that's what I just want to wrap my head around this whole maybe story rather. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Oza, for that contribution. I like how you were so firm on the fact that you would never, ever, ever, ever work in toxic environments.
Man,
All right, so Daniel, please.
he was very firm on that.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, for me, it's a no-brainer. I mean, if you know me very well, you know that I'm not that. I'm that kind of a person. I mean, I will tell you straight up. I will tell whoever it is. I mean, I can't. It's not going to happen. It's not. It's enough.
Basically, yeah. See, there's something I even want us. Why this topic is very important now. I keep on saying that thanks to COVID, there's a lot of changes that has happened with the human psychology since the coming and going of COVID. Should I say going? Because people still believe that COVID is still here. So I don't know. So since the coming of COVID, right? People have changed their perception. People now have better understanding of them. If there's one thing I can tell you, that people now have better understanding of themselves. Because what COVID did was COVID sent people to solitude. And while people were in solitude, they were thinking about their life. While people were in lockdown, so to say, there was a lot of thoughts that was going on. Some people were developing themselves. No, before then, everybody was just busy going out every day, coming back in. But people went in and there was a lot of thought about themselves and they came out refined. So people now know their worth. Trust me, you can't put somebody in a company and treat the person bad. They will leave. They know their worth because they know their worth. So that's where we are now. And that's why you see Oza is hitting his chest and saying, I can't. We have a lot of candidates like that now. It's unlike those days of our fathers where no matter what they're going through, they want to stay there. They just want to earn the money, work and feed the family. But now people understand their worth, right? They understand their worth and they cannot take all these things. They will leave. They don't mind starting their own business themselves and start from the scratch. That's what we are seeing today. A lot of startups. Most of these startups are coming from the place of employees not happy about what they experience in their place of work. And they feel like, man, I can start my own. And they're doing well. So there is a different perception right now around how people see themselves. So if you are treating people badly, trust me, nobody will stay anymore. People will just leave. Unlike Mary, who can understand Mary's situation. She's a single mother. She wants to take off her boy and she doesn't just want to leave and all that, right?
When I was thinking about the next webinar for our first year, it was during that period of when the Twitter list came out with the different toxic work environments in Lagos, in Nigeria and whatnot. I just thought about it and I thought, would these people even understand that driving, so-called results from their employees using this kind of technique is not good for their brand name, and especially on the part of customers? If they had good customer experiences, do you know if a customer actually came out to say, I don't think that this brand that was mentioned could actually treat their workers badly because they give me excellent experience. Like what Oza said, like, social media, what's it called now? Social media feedback can actually sometimes be doctored, exaggerated. Yes. So when people post stuff like that, if there was a customer or a few or a handful of customers that actually came out to say, these people's customer service is way too good for them to have been treating their customers, their employees real bad. I feel it would have, put some benefit of doubt for that company. So I thought about it that time and I was like, it's obvious. Your employee experience will tell on your customer experience, because they can't take out the like Mary cannot take her frustration out on our boss because she knows that the moment she does that, there'll be a sack letter waiting for her on her table. She can't take out that frustration on him. So the best person to take the frustration out on is the customer. So whenever a customer calls, she's frustrated that something is not working well in the office, and so she's going to just pour it on the person like, excuse me, hello, I'm frustrated. I'm giving you, the same frustration vibes. And so therefore,
Yeah.
it's very important to understand that employee experience has a very, very important, impact on customer experience. So Daniel,
Yeah.
how then can this experience for employees be improved?
So before we go to improve, let's look at the face of Mary. See the face. Great. So how then can we improve this, right? Next slide. Yeah. How to improve employee experience? How can we improve on this? So like I said earlier, right? I know I'm going back to the point where all these things started escalating. I keep on saying it's COVID. If we sit down and ask ourselves questions, it's COVID that started escalating things like, oh, employee experience, employee these, people start looking towards employee. Before then, there was not so much, what's this word now? There was so no much interest when it comes to, employee well-being. Now we talk about employee well-being. Companies now that were not doing HMO before, they want to do HMO now. Why? Because of COVID. People that were not doing hybrid system of work, they now say, okay, let's give this person some days to work from home, right? Because we already know that it will help them to probably relax a little bit, plan for the next day coming to the office, right? They work from home, they're comfortable and they're still delivering on their job. So we start having remote jobs. So COVID has done a lot of changes around the workplace setting, right? So creating a better employee experience comes down to two factors, right? I will explain this first before we go down, start listing, what we should do and all that. But I want to say this from the point of, this is the two factors that can change everything, right? This is the two factor. One, leadership. Two, workplace practice. Right? This is the two factors that can change everything about employee experience. Now, I keep on saying something. Sometimes we have business, probably the CEO, or maybe the company's document of culture document, everything is wonderful. The CEO is great. He's a loving person. He's caring. He communicates great. Probably some other senior managers or directors are wonderful. But you now come down to line managers. Whoa, that's where the hell comes from. The line managers make life hell to their their employees, the people that work under them, or the people that report to them. And trust me, even at that point, what the employee is seeing is not the line manager. The employee is seeing the organization. So to the employee, the organization is not nice to him or her, not the line manager. So that's why I call it leadership. I didn't say manager or CEO. I said leadership. So every facet of leadership in an organization needs to be taken care of. Our advice, trainings need to be done on leaders. People need to take emotional intelligence training. Before they even make you a line manager, you should show competence in leadership, emotional intelligence, people management. These are skills that people need to take. Workplace practices. What are some of the practices we put in place in our workplace, right? Do we put practices that helps to give people a better experience? Nowadays, companies now even put PS5, PS4, games in the office. Probably after working for a while, you could probably take your 1 hour break. You could probably go sit in the room and you are playing PS5. All these things they may look little, right? But it's an experience. It's an experience for, especially now that we have the Gen Zs in the workplace, right? You need to be very, 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 very careful, right? So is an experience that helps the workplace practice. It helps to build everything about culture, leadership, workplace practice, down to even at the point where you say, you can come, for example, I was saying one update, I think, is it not Microsoft or where, that they now created where you could take a nap, right? Probably in the afternoon.
I saw that.
I even saw one that they said is a must. You must take a nap, must. So when that time reached, what they did was they will block the person's calendar. So they'll write it nap time. So no tax will be given to you in that time, nothing. So they expect that you should be taking a nap. All these things, they are little. They are not spending any money on it, but it's an experience. Imagine you walking in a place, that, from 2 to 2:30, I will need to go somewhere, lie down and rest. It's it's an experience you know just want to leave tomorrow if another offer comes from somewhere, because you don't know where you are going, right? So all these things. So I'm just trying to bring the little things that cannot even cost companies so much money, right? I don't want to talk about the other aspect that you say, oh, it's quite expensive, we cannot afford this now. But there are some other little practices that probably may not cost a lot of when it comes to costing, right, financially, that you could also put in place to make your people have wonderful experience. Together they can provide an organization with tools and insights to deliver a more positive experience for workers. Leaders and managers play a central role in the overall tone and direction of an organization. Very important. No matter how the document, probably the onboarding was done, no matter how your offer letter has been beautified by probably your legal consultants and whoever, right? Yes, that's great. But who are your leaders? Who are the line managers? Who are the managers? Who are these leaders? Who are these people report to? What is the feedback they get from these people? It also determines the tone and the direction of the organization. So all these things need to be put in place. I've seen business owners that say, no, everything is going on well, but they don't know how the people they have chosen as line managers are quite behaving. So it's important that things need to go down even to the root, right? So that people can get the best of experience. It begins by providing clarity about where the organization is going, right? How each and every employee can participate in moving the company towards success. I think for me, this is where your onboarding takes place, right? This is your onboarding. Onboarding shouldn't just be, oh, welcome to company XYZ Limited. Our mission is to fight and not to kill. Our vision is this, all the stuff. And you just go in and read and read and read. No. Onboarding should be letting people see that, welcome, this is who we are. Put them in the future. This is where we are going. And we want you to be part of this journey, right? So you are not just saying it with mouth. After that process, right, they could see that, from one stage to another, right, there is a feel that they are part of this thing. There's a feel they are engaged through the process of growth. They can feel that, yes, I am part of this movement, right? I am super part of this movement and I'm not going anywhere. Like I said, I'm a recruiter, right? And I recruit basically or mainly for tech talent, right? Like the engineers, software engineers and all that. And there are some people that when I call them and I say, hello, my name is Daniel and I'm a technical recruiter for this company and I have an opportunity I want to share with you. I don't know if you'd be interested. The person has not even heard about it, but the next thing the person will tell me that, I don't think, sorry, I won't want to go ahead with this. I don't think I'm willing to leave, right? There was a day a candidate told me that, and I pressed still. I said, is there any problem? Is there something you want to share? Why? And the person said that, I'm very comfortable where I am. I don't see the reason why I'm leaving. That really started something in my head, right? That was a feedback from the candidate. I am very comfortable where I am. I don't see any reason why I should leave. So imagine a company saying that to a recruiter that is trying to poach him or her, right? That's what the candidate is saying. Then think about what, for example, if I actually know that company, what will now be my perception about that company? I'll know that, oh, that's a great company. That's a place to work in. That's where people don't want to even leave. So is that important? It's important for us to do this so that they can see clearly where they are going, right? They can see that I'm part of this movement. We may not be there now, but I think I want to follow them to that point, right? So managers can have a direct impact on employee experience by delivering personal support, right? You need to deliver personal support. I had one manager previously, right? And trust me, I keep on saying it. Wherever I go, I always say great things about him, right? He was not just there for me at a place of work, right? He was also there for me even out of work, right? I keep on appreciating him wherever I go. Wherever I hear his name, I keep on saying nice things about him because I know the impact he placed in me when I was working with him, right? Yes, he will probably there are times that things will probably go south and all that. Yeah, that's what, right? But you could see the support. You could see that he's not just there for the KPI, let's achieve this, but he's also there to see how he can support you, right? Even with personal issues. So how to improve this? So this is me just now. I just okay. Let me state these things. Let me just state these things one after the other, so that we could just take some points from them. But basically, what we have discussed so far is just an overview of how to improve these things, right? First of all, we need to look into our communication process, right? Deliver excellent communication. There's something I wrote down here. I want to read it out. I said that most leaders and managers agree that communication is important, but they spend time communicating efficiently with the media, with stakeholders, and target audience than their employees, right? I wrote this down and I decided to make sure that I'll read it out so that we could hear. So they know, these leaders, these managers, they know communication is very important. We need to improve on the communication, but they spend time communicating with the media, right? They need to put the company image out, so they communicate clearly with the media perfectly. Then communicating with stakeholders, probably investors and all that, perfectly. Communicating with customers, that is target audience, perfectly. Then when it comes to employee, zero. You see, there's a problem, right? So we need to work on our communications. Companies need to encourage an open door policy. We need to find a way to support people. We need to know how to communicate. Emotional intelligence, again, super important. So we say number 2 is respond to feedback. How do we give feedbacks to employees? Yes, there'll be times where we need to scold employees. We need to, they didn't do things well, or this was not what was expected of them, and they do this, and instead of doing that. So how do we give them feedback? You don't give people feedback to make them feel it too, right? You give them constructive feedback with the culture of respect, and you putting the human factor in it, right? Putting yourself in their shoes too, while you also give them the feedback. We are not saying that you should pamper failure, right? You can't be harsh on failure, you can't be hard on failure, but also find a way to put the human factor in everything you are doing. You cannot rain insults on people, make them feel it too, and you feel you are motivating them. That's never motivation, never. That's negative motivation, and it will go back to bring their morale for the job down. So I already spoke about open communication. We need to encourage open communication where any of the employees can walk up to the managers or the leaders to share their thoughts, to share their ideas, and also feedback, right? Also, companies for feedback to companies should welcome feedback from employees. So it's not just the company giving employees feedback on their work. So companies should also have sessions where employees can give them feedback on how they think the company should do or not to do, or what they are doing that is wrong and all that. So that should also be encouraged. So we focus, number 3 says focus on employees. So we need to have an employee-centric culture, a culture that puts the employee first. I made a post on LinkedIn, I think last week, says that the point we are, so we want to talk about the piece in marketing, people, place, and price, right? Great. But the point we are now in business, we need to understand that people are more important. When you take care of people, price, product, and place, or whatever other P you think of, they will just fall in place automatically. When people are taken care of, when people are happy, price, product, and everything will just be superb. So when you go and focus on price and product and all those other things, then you leave people, there's a problem, big problem, right? Because people are the ones that bring all these things together and make them work better. So you need to prioritize on them. You need to focus on them. So promote diversity and inclusion. This is very important, especially in a society like Nigeria, where there's a lot of division from religion to tribe to everything you could think of. We need to find a way to promote inclusion, diversity. So inclusion, diversity, not just at the point of probably, I think one of my former boss made one statement that sometimes people make some statements at the workplace. I think these statements like this should be frowned upon, like, because we can't encourage a colleague making statements like, forgotten that statement now, but it's a common statement we make. But so my former boss said that that's actually a problem when it comes to diversity and inclusion. It's a common statement that people make even in the workplace up to today, probably making a joke about someone's tribe, or you never can tell
like
the person.
particular tribe and all.
Yeah, you just make a joke about it openly, probably saying something about work, and you just throw a banter about someone's tribe. It's not necessary. You don't know how the person may be reacting. So all these things need to be looked into. We also need to promote it. We also need to give, probably when we are recruiting, there should be open policy where we don't judge people based on where they are coming from or religion or all that. I heard one time that somebody came for an interview with a hijab because she was a Muslim, and they didn't want to continue with the interview. Why? That's totally wrong. Except, I don't know, but I feel I don't see the reason why they shouldn't continue with the interview. Right? I don't see. So all those things need to be encouraged. All those things need to be encouraged to push employee experience. So not just about tribe and religion, also go to the point where we need to encourage more people that are probably having one or two disabilities to also be in the workplace. All these things help to promote employee experience so that people can also feel welcomed, right? People can also feel inclusive. Be intentional about employee reward and compensation packages. The reason why I use the word be intentional is that we need to understand that employee reward and compensation is not just, it's something you need to be intentional about. Sit down, ask yourself question. This is where my company is. What are other companies at my level, right? What are they doing? How can I do better? What's my people's reaction to what I am compensating or rewarding them? How can I work on this? Are they comfortable? Are they angry? We need to be intentional about these things. Rewards. So it shouldn't be, whenever they do things wrong, we give them negative feedback. What about when they do things right? Do we reward that? Do we find a way to make them happy? I keep on saying that some of these things are not expensive. There are some startups that do gift cards, right? You could just give a gift card of, go watch a movie because of how you performed in the last sprint or in this, go watch a movie. And the employee is so happy. It's not like the employee cannot afford a ticket to watch a movie, right? But because it's coming from my place of work, I will be so happy, right? I go watch a movie. So all these things are things that businesses need to be intentional about. Think about what you do. Think about how you can reward your employees, especially when they perform well. Think about what you can do under compensation. Think about it. I heard now that people owe salary like 2 weeks after and all that. These things are not necessary. How do you think someone can give his best when the person is working for weeks and weeks and weeks, still looking for salary, right? How would that person work at his or her best? So make management supportive. So management should be more supportive. It shouldn't just be about complaints. It should be supportive. How can I help? How can the management support? Okay, there's issue here and we have been complaining, but how can we as management come in to support them to make sure that they solve that? So management need to be supportive. You need to be open to welcome feedbacks from employees. So create a positive work environment. I think the whole today we have been talking about work environment. So positive work environment. How is your work environment like? What is the things you can put together? There are some work environment that cannot even encourage people to be creative. Stuffy, there's heat, there's no AC. People can't even be creative, right? So you need to create a work environment that is positive, that can also help to improve these guys, right? Then offer growth opportunities. So there should be a roadmap. I'm coming into this company. If I perform well, I'll move to assistant this. If I do well, I'm going to this. There is a growth opportunity. And there's also a form of training and development where, I can take this course and the company will even pay for it. These things help to improve employee experience. They know that, the company is not just interested in me doing my job, right? They're also interested in me becoming better. Now, the positive aspect of this is when your employees become better through training and development, that skills they have attained, they put it back to the business, improve the business again. So you are actually still investing in the business. So that's it. cultivate trust in leadership. You need to make your people trust your leadership. You need to make them trust your leadership, right? So you need to do this, right? Use the right tools, right? There are tools that we could make use of that will probably help to improve employee experience, right? We shouldn't call people, oh, come and gather for a meeting. There are tools now. We could just jump on a virtual call like where we are now. Improve. Imagine us saying that, oh, come to this venue for this meeting, but you probably stay in your house. Some of us probably staying and tying our towels or something, and you're in the meeting. You're happy, right? So you need to look for the right tools, that software tools that you could always bring into the organization that will also help the employee experience so that they won't stress to go through paperwork upon paperwork. There are things that can just make work easy for them and all that and all that. So this is it for me, right? At this point.
All right. Thank you so. In fact, I don't know what to say. This is one webinar that I really enjoyed. Thank you so much. So now we'll be moving to the question and answer segment or session. And to open the floor for questions, we'll use Oza's question as the first one, which was, what do we do in a case where here in Nigeria, everybody is just going for the job, whether the environment is good enough, whether it's conducive enough, they do not care. They just want to get the job. What do you think can be done about that, Daniel?
Okay. You know, if I could remember clearly when is it Osas?
Yeah, Oza.
Oza, if I could remember clearly when he was saying that, right? He was saying that nowadays we have young people that are not even interested to. They don't want to know how the business is all about. They don't care about the experience. They just want to get the job. We could clearly understand why, right? I think all of us are currently in that society where we know how the economy is, we know how people are, we know how it is to get a job, right? So sometimes in the beginning, I'll say this, most of the time, it is usually entry-level people, right? In the beginning, people are always anxious to get a job. They are always, they can do whatever, they can stay under the sun, just like he said, they could do others to get a job. But trust me, at that point, you could probably play with their emotions. I'm not encouraging that, but I'm just saying the organization can do whatever they want to do. They are willing to take it. Let me just get a job. But trust me, when they are in that job and they start seeing their worth, they start communicating with others that is ahead of them, they will understand their worth later on. And when they finally understand their worth, they will demand for more. And by that time, if you're not willing to give them the right experience, they will leave. And probably when they want to leave, it won't be as they came in. So probably they are leaving a better person. So it will now be a loss for the company because probably they have grown through the months, they have been there all the years, and they are now more refined and probably will do more work to the company effectively and efficiently. That is when they want to leave because they knew that throughout those years, throughout the months they have been there, they were never happy. So they will leave. That's why you see the bigger companies keep on taking the talents from the smaller ones. So they keep on getting better. So it's more like the smaller companies or the smaller organizations are more like a training ground for them. So they just go there and pick somebody. Why? Because they have a better employee experience. Not all of them anyway. Some of them have a better employee experience. So if you don't try to make these people comfortable, they will leave. They will leave. So even though they were very desperate to come in, but when they have finally grown to that point where they know who they are and they can stand on their own, they will definitely leave. And at the end of the day, it's your loss.
All right, thank you very much for that. So moving on, I see a hand up. Oh, when Dapo Etela, please go ahead and ask your question.
Hello, good day.
Hi.
So Mona and Daniel, thank you so much for this webinar. I think, Daniel, I think the presentation is fantastic.
Thank you.
But I know that you must have heard in recent times of the Great Resignation, which is very familiar with the Gen Zs. And it really doesn't have to do
I like where you're going.
It really doesn't have to do with the employee experience, because even the big companies are going through this Great Resignation. And a few weeks ago, even on Twitter, we're saying that these Gen Zs, they resign for the littlest of
things.
Yes. So how then, and in your trying to in the points you're making, you're talking about trust. We're talking about all these variables that give the employee this the right experience. How then do you kind of balance it with people who come from the nuanced or privileged backgrounds, or have a certain perspective as to how much work so because so far you've just been talking from the point of the employee. What about the organization who that has also committed to this experience and
didn't get results?
Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah, great. I'm totally happy about this question, right? Because it's also another. I think I was telling Mona that if we really want to look into this topic, probably it will be something that there will be webinars upon webinars, or there will be stage 1, stage 2, bringing out factors. So yes, I probably may have said so much from the employee side, right? But I think at this point, I'll need to balance it. Trust me, employees too can be very, very, should I use the word ungrateful? Because I've seen points where businesses are doing their best to make sure that they retain people. They do their best to make sure that they give them the best experience. They pay them on time. I think even during that, what happened on Twitter where people were calling up companies and all that, I think the tweet I made then was that nobody, like if you be a business owner for a day, you definitely understand what it is, right? Because I started my career from help, or should I say, I started my career as a HR person, working with someone that is building a business. So I was so close to the person, so I know what the person is going through. Someone building a business from the scratch. When I say scratch, I mean, even when the person has not even had social media pages, right? So that's where I started from. So I know what it is to put finance together, to make sure things are right. So definitely, I think I'm the last person that will make statements around this and not try to look at the place of the employer, right? Because I've been in that space. The truth is, we find ourselves, I made a statement earlier, COVID has changed a lot of things. I keep on using COVID for an example. It has changed a lot of things. Now, some people have that perspective that I've done my own. I can't do more than this. If you don't want it, I will go. So no matter what you are doing, they don't necessarily see it from that point, right? They see it from the point like me and not the business. So for me, this comes from the place of hiring. So this is why at the point of hiring, people need to be very careful. Who are we bringing into our business? So I'm speaking now from the point of the employee. Who are we bringing into our business? We need to be very careful. This is why when it comes to hiring, I keep on saying that people need to get a professional when it comes to HR or probably recruitment, right? So that they get to understand the people you are bringing in. Are they culture fit? Are they people that can go with you to the extra mile? Are they people that can appreciate the little you are doing for them? Or there are people that if you are bringing them in your business, you know that this person is just coming to earn the salary and probably do his work. So whatever extra you are giving the person to do, as little as this, even if you use the most polite words, they are not willing to do, and they cannot go the extra mile for you. So these are things that can be seen in the point of hiring. So I think at the point of hiring, businesses can also solve this problem. I'm not saying that they should take advantage of those that want to go extra mile, right? And go extra kilometers. Right. So I'm saying that businesses should be very careful at the point of hiring. Know who you are bringing in, right? I think from the point of hiring, not even I think, I know that from the point of hiring, there's an extent you can see and you know who can fit into your culture. You know who can go with you through the team, right? You know who can go through the rough waters. There are people that can stand with you, right? You will know these people from their view. Now, another reason why some companies also do background checks when hiring candidates, like they do background checks because they want to know what was this person's or what led to the person leaving the other place. I know sometimes background checks can be a little bit tricky because I want to be careful explaining that it can be a little bit tricky because there are some people that when you leave the organization and they go to another organization and the organization is coming to do background checks, the organization don't want to give the true image of what actually happened, right? They just want to paint the employee bad. Like that also happens sometimes, right? I think a few weeks back on Twitter, we saw a case where somebody was saying that, oh, I got another job and where I'm coming from, they had to go lie that this is what I did, which was not what I did, and they didn't give me that job, right? So, but also background checks can also help so that you know the kind of people you are bringing into the organization. So I think from the point of hiring, these two can be reduced in a lot of ways. Two, if people are in the organization and you are doing the much you can do as a business to make sure that you give them the right employee experience and you're not getting the right energy, right? That is not your fault, right? That's not your fault because, like I said, so probably you have missed it at the place of hiring and you were able to see that this is the kind of person that is not grateful enough to stick with the company, right? So at that point, even after all what you have put in place at your level, right? Because I know businesses are of different levels. There's a level you can go with your employee experience, right? At your level, you have done what is necessary. And people are not quite so comfortable. They feel like you are not doing anything. Trust me, that's not the kind of person to stick with. Because even if you go the next mile, right, the person will still not see much of what you are doing. Thirdly, what I'll say about this thing is that whether we like it or not, talent will leave. You said something about the great resignation. That's where we are right now. People are resigning every day. If you're in the tech space, you will know this more better. People are resigning every day. Now, why? Because, first of all, there is a high level of inflation. I'll start from the point of the economy. There is a high level of inflation. The economy is going so bad. So somebody that salary got improved probably 4 months back or 5 months back or 6 months back, after 4 months, because of the rate at which things are going, the reality of the increment is not even there again for the person because the economy is not really helping issues, right? Globally, the economy is not really helping issues. And this is also part of the reason why we are getting people resigning, because they feel like, oh, there's this other job that is offering this. They feel like, oh, for me to meet up with my current expense, I need to jump out, right? This is also part of the reason. Another reason for these things are that the high level of talent war, there is high level of talent war where companies are sprouting up every day. There's expansion and they want talent and they keep on, by the time you keep on, for example, by the time you keep on coming to somebody, oh, I have an offer, can you look into it? The person rejects once, rejects twice. And these things keep on coming. Yeah. One day they'll want to look into it. They'll want to have a feel of it. They'll want to go for the interview. And probably when the offer comes, they'll feel tempted to accept. It is not like you're not doing much, but it's just the reality of where we are now. It's just the reality of where we are now. So even if we try to say, oh, they will not leave, some will leave, but we shouldn't say that because people are leaving, we will not do our best to retain the ones that we can retain. Because if you don't do anything at all, you probably may lose all of them in the same day. It can happen. But when you are doing something right, you have people that will stay to fight with you. And also, you also have people that are leaving the company, but they have a good image of your business. So they are not just leaving and saying, oh, we have left. They are going out, but they still have a good image of your company because when they were with you, you gave them the best experience. There was the former experience I had where I worked last, right? Before now, there was, because it was a consulting space, right? HR consulting space. We had a contract. So let's use the word contract. We had a contract, right, that came in, and the person that brought that contract, right? The person that referred us was an ex-employee. And it was a huge one. It was a huge contract that really made the business happy for a period of time, right? It was a huge one. So it was an ex-employee of that company that referred the business, right? That referred us to the business, and we got the contract and we started working with them and things were superb, right? So if that employee at the point of leaving or left with a negative image of our business or where I was working for, I doubt if when they have that opportunity to refer us for a business opportunity, they will. No, they will never, because they feel like, right, they didn't do well for me, right? It wasn't a nice place for me. So they won't even think about the business. They won't even think about you at that point. But when you have done your due diligence as an employer at your level, and they still feel like they are living, trust me, they are living with the right image of you, and they will speak about you somewhere, right? They will speak about you somewhere, and they will speak nice things about you and nice things about the business. And why not even refer you for businesses, right? So this is the much I can share about that. Thank you so much for that aspect. I think is a reality on its own, right? The great resignation is here, and we cannot shy away from that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Daniel, for answering that question. So I saw that a private question or a private message popped into the chat, and the person wants to keep them anonymous. All right, the question goes first. It said, when you were speaking about creating a good work environment, how does that work for people whose jobs are fully remote?
Okay. So if your job is fully remote, right? If your job is fully remote, you need to create your own environment, yours, to give yourself a proper experience, right? You need to create to give yourself a proper experience, so to say. So yeah. So sorry, I had an important message just popped in, so I had to just read that. Yeah. So you need to create your own experience, right, to fit into what you want. So I'm working remotely, right? For example, I work hybrid, right? So I go back home, I fix up my workspace, right? How I want it to be. But I want you to understand that workplace experience is not just about the physical environment. Right? It's not just about the physical environment. It goes beyond the physical environment. It goes to the point of communication. It goes to the point of workflow. Every aspect of work involves workplace experience. So it's not just about the physical look of the place. So basically, if it's physical look is part of it, but it's not just all about physical look. So if it's for physical look, you're working remotely, then you have to make your workspace cool for you. That'll make you comfortable and make you creative enough to work, right? So you working remotely will take off that. Well, I know businesses they go as also helping with probably subscribing for you. So they give data allowance just to make sure that, oh, you're working remotely. Yeah, you shouldn't be using your personal data for company's business. They give you call card allowance and all that. That is also finding a way to improve your remote experience. So it shouldn't be like, oh, you're working remotely and you are forgotten somewhere, right? So that's a little I could share.
Yeah, I think I understand the physical person is coming from now, because I was also wondering what they meant, but I think I understand now, because I also heard, I think there are some companies that even go as far as sending desks and chairs that help them to stay comfortable.
Yeah.
So I think I understand this person's question.
That's so great. That's so great. You know, basically, if you are sharing this thought, like I said earlier, we also share it to the point understanding that all businesses are not at the same level, right? So that's why I said at the level you are as a business, the much you can do, you go ahead and do, right?
Awesome. So we'll be taking one last question because we have really taken a lot of time. Like Daniel said, this is enough for a conference. So the last question will be from Daisy Madwa. So Daisy, please go ahead with your question. I can see your hands raised. Maybe I think your network is kind of bad.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Perfect.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I have a question for Daniel. I know one of the best ways for employees to enjoy or to have a good experience, and also for employers to have a good experience in the workplace, is when there's good communication. And one of the ways to improve on whatever experience you have is when you get feedbacks and you improve on those feedbacks. So I know he said something about employees' feedback. How best can you drive employees' feedback? Because in some organizations, some employees may be scared to probably give a feedback because they're scared of losing their jobs. And also some employers may also not give the right feedback correctly. Maybe they give a feedback in a way that might be insultive, maybe by shouting or by giving queries. How best is it to drive this feedback system or this feedback mechanism? Thank you.
Okay, great. So thank you so much, Daisy. So for that, right, I'll start with employers giving feedback to employee. Trust me, if they are getting it wrong, then they need to get a training. They need to get a training, right? Probably a training on how to communicate, how to give feedbacks, right? You get to develop yourself on that, right? So for employees giving feedback to the company, right? The company need to be intentional about it, because why do you need feedback from employees? To improve your business. You don't just need feedback from them just for feedback's sake. You want to look into what they are saying, then engage what they are saying so that there can be improvement, right? You need to look at what they are saying, try to value it, try to other stuff, so there can be improvement. So like I said earlier, right, it should be intentional from the employer. So the employers can come up with, there are tools, there are software tools that can help people give feedback anonymously, right? You don't necessarily need to know who they are. So you can, if you are really intentional about having feedback from your employees, look out for these tools. You can get those software tools for your company and you engage your employees on them, right? You engage your employees on them so they give feedback. So you just see feedbacks without knowing who amongst the employees are. So imagine if you have probably have 50 employees, right? And they all have to take that survey, right? It probably may even be a form or something, a survey, right? They take the survey using the software tool, and you read through the survey, you see probably out of 50, 10 or 20 of them are saying some things that need to be improved, right? You definitely may not know among that 10 of them, or actually among that 50 of them, who are the 10, right? So there are ways that feedback can always be given where you don't necessarily need to know the person, so that the employer cannot get back at them, right? Trying to, you understand? So also, I think there was one feedback I once taken, and there was this survey I once took in my previous place of work, right? So it was survey for manager. So basically they say, oh, who do you report to? Okay, come. So it has already been set. So questions are asked about the person you report to. So everybody that reports to that person answers those questions. So it's more like you are grading the person, right? So you grade the person. Oh, on this, what's the person? So how can you grade this person from this level to this level? How can you grade? So it's more like giving your line manager feedback, but he doesn't even know who took the test, because it's just like a survey and nobody puts the name or email or phone number or whatever. You just take it. So at the end of the day, they see the result from the back end, right? Or from the admin dashboard. The result is seen. And when the result is seen, they can now encourage or advise the line manager on where to improve, maybe training to take. Probably if they are complaining about the person's communication style, it can be looked into, and training can be recommended for that manager.
All
So
right.
these are ways to solve this.
Yes, thank you so much, Daniel. This is such a wonderful session. We can see now that actually employee experience really does matter. Okay, so one thing I'd just like to summarize everything that we've important to hear today as is that your business is a seed, and you plant it in your work environment, and then when it stems forward, it stems the kind of employees you have and how they react. And then the fruit you get is as a result of the amount, the kind of environment that you have actually started your business in. So just know there's no slave master kind of drive that helps. This is the 21st century. Slave era ended years ago. So it cannot bring so much, even if it does bring you results to an extent, after some time, it would like Daniel said, they will find their worth and then say, you know what, I quit. I can't take this anymore. I'll just leave and go. All right. And finally, I would also like to let you know that you should be employee centric in your organization. It should be part of your work cultures and practices. And then outside the organization, you should be customer centric. And if you cannot, like they say, charity begins at home. If you cannot handle the employee centric part of your business, it will obviously affect the customer centric part, even if you want to try to be customer centric. Oh, so thank you very much again, Daniel. Thank you to all those who are watching, the YouTube people that came online. I really appreciate your time. Those that came to watch via Zoom, thank you so much. And for those that missed it, that are just watching it, you did not miss so much because I obviously watched this point. So thank you very much, everyone. Stay tuned for more webinars like this from Alpha CX and enjoy your day. Thank you very much, Daniel, again.
Thank you.